The home building process is so long that by the time you're ready to actually start breaking ground, you've forgotten about some of the things that maybe you want in the future. In today's episode, we're going to talk about some of those things, especially the ones that go underground, like our utilities. So let's get after it. Let's talk about the big picture when building and planning out your home on a piece of property like this. At one point, this property had a home. It had some barns and some lean-tos, and with that, it already had established utilities. And most of those utilities were above ground. Like you can see behind me, the electrical was above ground. And we wanted to abandon that from a visual perspective and put it in ground. With that comes a lot of added cost, but more importantly is where they're going to run that underground utilities. Because we're already planning for the future and thinking about adding a secondary structure like another garage, or maybe you may want to put in a storage unit of some sort, or maybe a steel structure building. You don't want to have those utilities run underground where that building is going to be, which was exactly what we ran into in this build. So we had to have them run that existing electrical into an easement that we put on the west side of the property, and directly below me is where they put the gas line. And we'll show you in just one second, but that gas line they originally dug in to the left of me, which is exactly where this added structure is going to be. So we had to have them move it about 10 to 15 feet over so that it's not in the way of that new structure. I'm standing in the middle of our utility easement, and all that is a 20-foot wide section that runs all the way from the street down to the bottom of our property and connects to two more parcels of land. And this is where all of the utilities can run their utility lines. Specifically for us, it's the electrical and our fiber optic internet. When they run the electrical off of the above ground electrical poles that run along the street, they run it in ground into, in this case, it was an orange flexible conduit, and it gets connected into this box here, which is where our transformer is housed. So instead of having a transformer on a pole at the street, we actually have the transformer right here on the property. And this is what then supplies the power to our electrical meter box. So this is a pedestal that houses the electrical meter. And then from here is where we run the electrical lines to the house. This is a great setup. Everything is underground, so it doesn't get into view of our Pikes Peak from the back of the home, and it hides everything really nicely, but it does come with an added cost. So just something to take into consideration. When it comes to water and gas, those were already on the property, so we couldn't have the utility companies move them into the easement without incurring a significant cost, and realistically there was no reason to have them move. This is our wellhead, and our wellhead goes down about 330, 400 feet roughly. And because the water line that connects to the house has to be buried below the frost line, in our case that's 8 feet, it really wasn't an issue because the future structure that we're planning to put onto this property will have shallow footings, about 4 to 5 feet deep. So this well and the water connection into the house was really not that big of a problem. We still moved it over to the side so it doesn't get into the way just in case, but it wasn't the issue. The issue was more with the gas line, which is indicated with the yellow flags that you see behind me. And the gas lines are dug in 4 feet below ground, so definitely above the water line height, but a gas line cannot be under any sort of structure. So that gas line had to be moved. Fortunately, we caught the utility companies on site when they had just started digging, so we have the dig marks, but the gas line was actually moved over because we caught it just in time, saving us a little bit of money rather than having them redo it later. Planning for the future is an essential part of the home building process, but all too often left as a secondary thought. Doing it ahead of time is going to save you a tremendous amount of headaches and worries and set you up for a smooth building process down the road for those expansions that you're already planning today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. Around here, we say mock it up or mess it up. We'll see you next time.